It's October 9th, and this is the meeting of the Policy Review Group. We're looking at continuing to look at the computer use for employees policy, and hoping to finish it tonight. I don't see any positive nods.
Yes, we will.
Woo, you can do this. All right.
Shapley voted for the police officer. I meant to.
I heard that, yeah, I
By
asked.
5 votes.
By 5?
Yep.
It only passed here by
That's
3.
good, because we voted
Wow.
against it if it was going to mean going the whole balloon. But I understand it was a fairly close vote there as well?
5 votes. 26 to 21. They had 50.
And fewer people
Yeah.
voting than we did.
Did.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, you all have to start behaving, watching the speed limit,
Yeah, no
et
kidding.
cetera, et cetera. Kidding. All right.
Are there some parts of this that we still haven't covered?
That's what I'm looking for.
We haven't finished these last 2 paragraphs in the storing and transferring documents, and we haven't gone over the passwords and physical security of equipment at all.
Right, that's kind of where we left off.
Right. A little narrow.
We've got instant messaging.
I thought we didn't do that at all.
Because it was very short, wasn't it? We basically weren't going to allow it.
Right.
We didn't see the need.
But we're going to leave that the way it reads.
I believe
Which
that's
is
what
on
we
page 5.
agreed to, unless you have any further thoughts on it. Yeah, this town does not provide employees with resources and tools to communicate by instant messaging. Okay. Did anyone have any further notes or changes on that?
Nope.
It's a short paragraph.
Don't do it.
Yep.
No problem, so that's okay as it is.
I think so. The storing and transferring documents that Steve rewrote.
Yes.
Did you agree that office manager should be capitalized? Or you-
I haven't done it, but,
Thank you.
You'll consider it, is that it?
no, I will do it.
And Elaine, you had, where's yours?
Yeah,
Got a question here.
Yeah. I had,
Paragraph 4.
I had that we were going to change that to, if uncertain whether an electronic communication or other document is a government record for purposes of records retention laws. So it was just the beginning of it.
Which paragraph?
I think it's the
Oh.
4th paragraph.
If you are
now.
unsure.
My note says if there are questions regarding, but I'm
That's what I had.
available for anything. You get better wording,
Everybody's
it's fine.
different?
What was your wording again?
I had crossed out if you are unsure, and I had,
If uncertain whether.
if uncertain, whether an electronic communication.
Okay.
I mean, that's just what I had written down there. Maybe I
Okay.
missed further
But I mean,
conversation
it's
about
basically
it.
saying the same thing, is it not?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, it's just a different way of saying it, yep. That's what I had on my notes, so. And you
any
have,
You
other,
know.
it's just the office manager being capitalized.
yeah.
I just have one question. About, is it in here that it
meant
says
to-
state retention laws,
Policies,
policies?
first paragraph.
Should be
I
stored.
meant to tell you,
Records retention policy. The state records retention policy, it's on the second line of paragraph 1.
So should it be capital S, capital?
No, I didn't think
No?
so.
Okay.
State records retention. Yeah, that's
If
what
he
I
was
was
saying,
wondering.
I guess if he was saying state of Maine,
Well, if you, is it,
State of
if you
Maine, then it
say,
does.
right.
yeah.
But
But if
even
you
when you
don't
s-
say of Maine, then it doesn't need
I
to,
think so.
even though that is understood to be explicit.
Right, because
Yeah,
even when you
it's-
say federal, that's not capitalized.
Yeah, and if we're saying state, then we're not meaning the state of Florida or anything else. It's explicit that we mean the state of Maine.
Well, it's implicit
So
that
I
it's,
just thought it might, maybe it should be capitalized. I mean, I'm not positive, but
I think if you want to do it for emphasis, you can always capitalize things.
so
Or if you
that
had
was
the in there, the state,
in accordance with,
Would you capitalize the too?
no.
Being a smart ass.
I meant to tell you,
The Ohio State.
I edit for magazine articles, and they had a wicked good description in our guidelines of how, when to use which and when to use that.
Oh, really?
I'll email that.
Oh, send it to me. I
send
remember
it to me too.
a couple of years ago, there was
Send
one
it to
that
her.
went
Oh,
back,
no.
went back and forth around the law firm between the partners that I worked for. And I thought, did I save that? Do I have that someplace? I was like, these people are so busy, getting their $900 an hour, yet they can have time to have an email debate over which and that.
Yeah.
So obviously, nobody quite agrees.
No, I'm sure.
So do we want capital S or not?
Nah.
Thank you. Next item.
Passwords and physical
Well, we need.
The last
look at
two
the
sentence paragraphs, yep.
Yeah. Deb wants me to get floppy disk out of there, but I still have some.
Because it's ancient history.
Oh,
I
yeah,
still have some.
you have them.
In the museum.
Do you think anybody in the business world has them?
No,
I'll bet half the people he works with don't know what a floppy disk is.
that's probably true.
Looks like saying you have a 45 record. People look at you like, you have a what?
Yeah.
What is that?
45 gun, but, okay.
Why exactly is that in there? Are we trying to make a different?
He was just
In
trying to
addition-
cover all the possibles, right?
right.
But it doesn't say that you
Probably
can
somewhere.
or you can't do it.
I think it's informational. You can probably get rid of that paragraph if you want to.
Aren't they not allowed to do that? Because didn't we say somewhere else that,
Well, that's like Mr. Paul. He goes out to a site and looks at things and has to bring it back.
I've never heard anybody call him Mr. Paul.
I always call him Mr. Paul. Sorry,
No,
I was
you're-
never told
you're
to
proper.
call him Ken.
It's Kenny.
Kenny,
Never-
never told to
never
call him
called
Kenny.
Now that the whole town knows it's straight.
so it doesn't, to me, it just doesn't, it doesn't really say anything.
Yeah,
Wasn't the point of this paragraph about conveying concern over viruses?
These items, but it doesn't say,
Just-
it's
it's
just
just
a
a point of
warning,
information.
as a warning, these items can,
Something to be cognizant
I
of.
mean, it's not, we're not trying to say that they can't do it.
We didn't-
Or-
we didn't
Sometimes
say
they
that.
have to do it.
because it goes into the transferring document part of this section. But I think I think these two paragraphs should probably be merged together at least.
Should we put a danger?
Flashing?
Yeah. Be good.
You can put it in red, how's that in the final?
There you
copy?
go.
Combine the last two paragraphs.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So at least, so you know why we put in the first paragraph.
Okay. How's that? Make sense? So,
Does this sentence, I don't know if it's the new glasses, but does this kind of lean just a little bit to the right?
which sentence are we looking at?
Scanning storage media, does the font
Where
go
is
a
this?
little to the right?
It looks like it's almost semi-italicized
It
or
does,
something.
okay, it's not the...
It's probably my printer then. 'Cause I don't see it on hers.
What paragraph are we on? I don't
The very
see
last
it.
line.
The town has
Very last line of
installed
that.
antivirus software. That last line, the very bottom line, looks like it's tilted.
Must be your glasses.
Mine looks okay.
Tell you, it's the printer.
Maybe it's
Don't worry about it.
the computer you printed it on.
That's what he just said.
See, push the glasses further up your nose.
Oh, I can't.
How they look now? Read again.
No, it's just that one line. Everything else looks fine. I just didn't know if it
Does
was,
mine look different than yours?
yes, yours looks straight up and down.
Mine does too.
Look at mine. Tell me that doesn't look just a tad slanted.
It's a little
not
wavy.
Yeah, okay.
It's
so
for
see,
emphasis.
Not me.
Did you print yours in a different font or something?
No, you just, It must have gotten tired by the time it got around to there.
I think it might have just jogged or something. So we're going to combine those two paragraphs, and then this is going to be storing and transferring documents is going to be complete.
I think so.
Oh, I meant to bring my sweater.
I thought you were doing aerobics or something.
We should all we'll each have our own fly swatter. We'll get nothing done. Especially if you go slapping her, you get.
Oh, this and is little and this and is big.
And,
What's your point?
No point, just
Which is,
do we,
bringing
do we
it
have
to
any
your
other,
attention.
if it's a title, it should all be caps.
do we have any other,
We haven't done that one, have we? Passwords and physical.
No, we haven't got that. That's the next one.
Now, didn't Jennifer said she gives everybody a password?
yeah, that's why it says the office manager is responsible for maintaining computer passwords.
Then how can the employees be responsible for following these
No, I guess the
guidelines?
office manager is responsible for following those guidelines.
And then we should put and is responsible.
But an employee has
Yeah, the
their own
employees
password, so if you get down to,
No, Jennifer
Yeah,
assigns
Jennifer-
everybody's.
Jennifer tells them their password.
right, and then they have to keep it confidential.
Right.
Right, but it's not Jennifer, it's not the employee's responsibility to
So
follow.
you cross out employees, and it reads, "The office manager is responsible for
Yeah,
maintaining computer passwords and is responsible for following these guidelines."
But that means only the office
Yeah.
manager
Only the
is,
first one, though.
yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
and I'm looking further down.
right.
Before,
So can
it
you
talks
just go,
about,
and is responsible, that passwords must be at least 8 characters, make that part of the first
What if we
sentence?
How about
period-
issuing?
What a period, if we put a period after passwords in the first line and get rid of the rest of the line.
How about, but she
Well-
issues them, she doesn't maintain
yeah, that's
them.
what I was just
Well,
gonna
she's
say,
maintaining 'em.
Maintaining them. She issues them.
She
And
issues,
she changes them
right.
if they need to be changed.
Okay, so now I'm going to put issues in there?
If you want issues in there, I'll put issues in there. I'm a flexible guy.
Yeah, because
I've seen you
it
try to walk.
shows that she's the manager, if you will, of data authorization.
Mhm.
Assigning computer passwords?
Oh, that's a good
Okay.
one. I like that word.
Assigning.
Yep, assigning and maintaining.
Oh, and,
Yeah, it's an and, it's a two-part job. Give her a raise.
And maintaining computer passwords.
Period.
Period.
sure, get rid of the rest.
Delete.
Or the rest of the sentence could be the lead-in for the following. Well, maybe not.
No,
Scratch
she
that.
is the one that,
No, I was looking at the subsequent paragraphs.
Oh.
Never mind that, we'll come back to that if we decide.
so this would be for the office manager. The passwords must be, she's the one that needs to know
Yep.
that they may be at least, now, something that we had suggested that it should be a minimum of 12. Or didn't you say that
Lie.
now?
That's a lie.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
Is it
I'd
really?
be writing that down on my cuff.
tattoo.
There you go.
Change every month, though.
Well, especially, I guess, if it's being assigned by someone else, because when we assign our own passwords, it's usually something that you know
You
you're
can
going to
relate to,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I
as a
think eight's
computer
fine.
person, you think that the 8 is,
Eight's pretty standard. you get it.
okay. And
Or you could
the
say a
key is-
minimum of
is
8,
what's
a
in-
minimum
What's
of-
used in it, what symbols.
Must be 8, must be at least.
Incorporating the special characters
So-
in the numbers really increases the security of the password significantly.
Oh, I'd definitely be writing that down.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah, it says somewhere down here.
I like it says you should lock it in a file. Now, what if you don't remember the password to get into the thing to open the
I think
file?
they're talking about a physical file.
These are the things you write on the
File
way.
cabinet?
Yeah.
Do you think
Oh,
it needs a
okay,
file cabinet?
okay.
So maybe it needs to say that. So it's not kept in a file on the computer.
That's what I'm thinking. I got it written down on my,
It says hard copy file.
I'm glad I don't work in it.
So where does it say that?
password should not be stored.
Should not be stored in any location on or near the computer. Store your password in a document or hard copy file. What does it mean, say, store your password in a document
Means to make a document, put your password in it and save it.
as a hard copy?
Well, I
Not
think,
as a
it-
document on your hard drive.
I think the hard copy file should be stricken anyhow, because that means a printed document.
But if you keep it in your door and lock it.
Well, do they lock their computers when they made their computers? No.
Doesn't Control-Alt-Delete sort of like turn you off or something?
Yeah, back 100 years ago.
Oh, doesn't do it now?
No.
Wait.
Oh, no wonder it didn't work at home for me.
It doesn't turn you off now?
No.
It gets you out of what you're
What
in.
gets me out of my applications,
It gets you
Well,
out
but
of,
it doesn't shut the computer down.
right.
It used to be the reboot sequence.
Doesn't reboot that anymore? Oh, that's why it doesn't work.
It hasn't since
And here we are, writing policy.
1980
Just about,
and hold.
yeah, I didn't get the memo on that. Doesn't work like my TV remote.
Yeah, no.
Elaine, you can be in charge of the mute button.
I can't even see where it is. Where is the mute button?
Anyway. Oh, well, not good, people. Very unprofessional.
Eric, stop laughing.
Store your password in a document or hard copy.
You guys ever watch Mike and Molly?
No.
Don't start.
just the years.
Oh my God.
Is that what we resemble?
No,
No.
there was a really
It
funny
says here,
scene
lock
on
your
Monday night.
workstation, press Control Alt Delete keys.
Well,
That
when,
evidently doesn't reboot you anymore, though.
when we give them the final draft, they'll make other changes.
Well, does that lock your computer?
yeah.
Control Alt
Yeah.
Delete?
If this
Well,
doesn't
it
work
it brings up a
now,
menu to lock your computer, yeah.
It brings up a,
In some operating systems, it automatically locks your computer, and some, it brings up a menu and you click on lock this workstation.
how about if we didn't say press Control Alt Delete, why don't we just say lock your workstation if you'll be away?
It is done.
And
Then we get rid of the second line.
the other thing is, if you'll be away, how long? You know,
Well,
somebody that's
My
going to
com-
be down and back to another office in 10 minutes.
My company's policy
You need
is
to?
leaving your desk.
yeah. The company I work for, that was the policy too, if you're
Good.
leaving your desk. Yeah, because some of those computers
Right,
are out
anybody
in
can
the
come in
front
and
office, and there are people,
Yeah.
you know, standing there, you know, looking out over their desk or something. So our policy was we had to lock our computer.
Okay.
So I'm going to get rid of the whole second line in that paragraph.
Right, unlock your computer.
Just
Which
out of
one
curiosity.
which one are you talking about? Which,
Last line of the page.
One starts with lock your workstation. Well,
right here?
yeah, so take out,
Unlock your computer by
and
doing
take out the
same.
Control Alt Delete.
Oh, we're not going to put that in there?
No, because we don't know if that actually,
Is what they do here.
yeah, their boss will tell them what to do, how you lock it.
And then delete. Let's see,
I'm
type in-
surprised you didn't say anything about the no password.
What, no password?
No password should be shared. shouldn't it be
No.
passwords should not be shared?
I copied this out of somewhere. It's true.
'Cause he
That's
always-
my pet peeve.
That's his pet peeve.
It's my that.
So he's going to need passwords.
Should not.
Plural, right?
Yes.
Should. Not.
If you say shared or told, it's the same thing. Should not be shared under any circumstance. Is that emphatic enough?
Except I can't spell circumstance.
CIRCUMSTANCE. Is that right?
Sure.
That's what I
That's
got.
what I get. So we all must be wrong.
Nothing had a spelling bee, you know?
The office manager again should be capitalized.
Oh, yeah. Password should
People
not be
still use
stored.
Palm Pilots anymore?
No, I'm sure there's some
Somebody, who-
dinosaur out there that.
Well, generically speaking, is there another word that covers?
Yeah, I should probably use PDA or something. I was going to work on that whole paragraph. I don't like that paragraph. You shouldn't
No, I
store
know
your,
it.
shouldn't store your password in a document that you, if once you've locked it, you can't get to your document now.
right,
So I'll work on this passwords paragraph.
So we're not going to finish tonight then because
Well,
Steve
we,
doesn't,
that's right.
want
It's
us to
entirely my
finish.
fault.
He doesn't.
We have to do a read through the whole thing anyhow, right?
Right, the second sentence contradicts the first sentence.
Right.
So in
Sure,
the base
yeah.
quantity of the computer, then we go on to say password.
I should have,
Yeah,
conflict.
okay. The box. PDA.
personal,
Digital assistant.
everything's on the cell phone now.
iPad, etc.
is using
Yes.
portion the last
Yes, yeah.
paragraph?
Uh-huh.
Yep. I think we should get rid of the first line in that last paragraph. This says, use caution to leave equipment unattended. This is, don't leave it unattended.
Really? It should be will hold or shall hold or something, not may.
So would you want to cross out the first sentence?
I do.
And just, what about, do not leave town computer equipment unattended or in an unlocked vehicle, or it says unattended at any offsite? Okay. So unattended
Unattended or
is,
unlocked.
do
You don't want it to be visible.
No.
So it's like, don't leave it on the seat and lock the car. Nope, that is still smash and grab.
Right, smash and grab.
So it should be left in an invisible location.
Or throw a
because-
coat over it or something, yeah.
Yeah, or in the trunk and locked.
Okay, so I'll take the unlocked vehicle out of there, and then we'll add a line saying, if you leave, if you have to leave your vehicle, it has to be in the trunk and locked.
Well, you can take out the at any off-site facility, because it doesn't matter where it is, it shouldn't be left unattended anywhere.
Well, in
You
the
don't leave it
office, you
in a-
kind of assume it's gonna be,
I mean, if you're on the road and you just stop for gas or something,
Right. But I mean, never mind.
Bottom line, if it's in your care, you're responsible for it, for
Right.
returning it in the condition that you got it.
Right.
But what about addressing what you said, Virginia, about it being not, so that it can't be seen? Not e-
Yeah, so it's not
Just
left
because
out
it's
the
in an
open.
unlocked, because it's an unlocked vehicle, doesn't mean that,
You don't want it to be visible.
yeah.
How do you put that?
If you're gonna leave it in your vehicle, put it in the trunk.
So you want to make that one sentence, do not leave the town computer equipment unattended,
Right,
and then do another
and
one?
then add another sentence, yeah.
Okay.
So, intended period, or, do we want to leave at any offsite
Well, what I want to do
facility?
is make that first line, do not leave the town computer equipment unattended at any off-site facility. And add another line addressing what you do if it's in your vehicle. What do you think of that?
Yeah,
Yeah, and you could probably take out the
Yeah.
quote restaurant, back in there.
Yep. And we'll add something like, if you must leave it in your vehicle, make sure it's in the trunk or away from view, out of view.
Out of view. Yeah. So, right, you just throw a coat over it.
should it say the town may? or the
Well,
town
will.
Or just you are liable for any loss or damages.
The employee is responsible.
Yeah, for any loss or damage.
Just the borrower of the computer, because what happens if it's not an employee? What happens if somebody from one of the
From the fire department or
fire department or any of the committees?
library or
Any of
the
the committees.
committees, yeah.
So just the borrower of the computer.
Right.
May not be an employee.
Right.
Okay, what did we end up with there? I was writing,
The borrower of the computer will be financially responsible for loss or damage.
Period.
oh, so we'll just get rid of
Good.
the town may hold part.
Yep.
And have it the borrower of the computer, will be
Is liable for any loss or damage.
financially responsible for loss or damage or liable.
I think you even have to have the word financial if you're saying it's for loss or damage.
So cross out financially.
Or do you think that adds more emphasis to it?
Too late, Eric, cross that.
That's your limit for the night, huh?
Certainly leaves no doubt that you're going to pay for it.
Might get their
Come on,
attention, right?
Dave.
The reader's attention. Is that it? I would
Oh,
think so.
what happens to all the crap that's under the thing?
What does it mean I'll be responsible? Yeah, I know, I lost it, I'm really sorry.
What happens to all the stuff that's on it if they lose it, all the work that somebody else
Oh, yeah,
may have
that's
done
why you do
and all
backups.
that kind of stuff?
Do we have anything in this policy about backups?
Yeah, we do somewhere, yeah.
I don't remember.
Okay.
We do.
I don't think we've done them yet, because I don't remember arguing over who kind of hold the backups.
They do automatic backups
Don't they do them at the end of each day?
at the end of each
This
day.
is
I
sounding
think
more
that,
familiar to me.
And Jennifer takes them home.
Jennifer
And
said,
takes them home, okay.
All right, so how do you want that last line to read?
The borrower of the computer will be responsible.
Is responsible for loss or damage.
Is,
All right, the sentence I plan on inserting is, if the equipment will be left in an unattended vehicle, be sure to keep it locked up and out of sight.
the vehicle locked and out of sight?
No, the equipment locked and out of sight.
That's what it sounded like to me.
No, it didn't.
Locked and out of
Say
sight.
again, please, one more
If
time.
the equipment will be left in an unattended vehicle, be sure to keep it locked up and out of sight.
The last thing you're talking about is the unattended vehicle.
The "it" refers to the subject of the
Just
sentence.
telling you. Took it as the vehicle.
The equipment,
Okay, how would you like to have it read?
how do you say, how do you?
How would you like it, Deborah?
No
That's fine.
arguing.
Pardon me?
That's fine.
No, it's not. How would you like it?
See,
No?
now this is why we cannot bring fly swatters.
Oh, yeah, I'll be swatting this. Can I say that word on TV?
Here's the mute button.
Oh, okay.
If town, it should be if town equipment? If, or should it just be?
No ifs.
If computer equipment is left in, computer equipment left in vehicle should be stored out of view?
Sure.
Well, how did you have it? I didn't
Should
get
be
I
it.
like yours
locked,
better.
locked and out of
Huh?
view.
I like yours better.
The vehicle has to be locked and the equipment out of view.
Stored
Is that okay with you now?
out of view.
She's thinking about this.
So computer equipment.
I can see this conversation continuing a couple of hours from now.
Nah, I will have forgotten. I'm old, senile, so.
Computer equipment left in vehicle should be stored out of view. Bada bing.
Those are doing bada
Elaine's
bing.
happy.
Bada bing. Okay. And we gotta do the and in caps, right?
Of.
The title.
Yeah, there's another there.
And of. Did I?
You didn't say that before.
No, probably not.
She wasn't
Have you no
sharing.
meeting over
I
there?
sort of assumed you'd take the hint.
I wouldn't have noticed.
As a last run-through, we will catch all
Oh,
these
yeah,
little
I know.
cosmetic items.
I thought that was Jennifer's job, the cosmetic crap.
Well,
Can we go back to story?
I don't want to have her commenting on our lack of
Lack of-
formal grammar.
On the second one, incidental communication, which is not an official record, should there be commas there from the which to the town business? Because it's incidental communication should be deleted as soon as possible, so
Yeah.
shouldn't we have commas?
Yep. Incidental communication, comma, which is not an official record of transaction of the town business, comma, should be deleted.
Use a semicolon, colon, pair.
Or parentheses?
Your choice.
Business, should be.
I'll never see those. I'll never see them.
You know, like graphics?
Bada bing.
Tell me,
What?
Oh, you would tell me.
I'm Italian, nobody died.
Oh, are you? I did not know.
Beck, isn't that English?
Oh, yeah, but my
Bada bing.
It
Who?
was what?
Buono.
Oh, no wonder you got married.
Buono. Buono means, you guys are in Italy. Buono
Means what?
good. Mo, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
God, I thought Celtic names were tough.
Guanamo. I thought that was the bay in Cuba. Guanamo.
Geronimo.
It's gonna get ugly here.
Okay, what's the next paragraph, section that we're gonna slaughter here?
Let's see. We did software, hardware, we did personal use, we did email and internet. I think,
Email updates.
What was the one that had all the dots? I was very confused.
This one? I was told to put numbers.
Okay.
Here you go.
Can I take,
Yep, one for you, one for everybody.
I was just really
dots.
very confused on that one. Electronic mail. Internet.
Yeah, it was on electronic mail, but we had a lot of dots.
Oh, look at the extra O in correspondence. Whoa, where'd that come from?
Printer malfunction probably.
And that, I will need to buy. The electronic use, I'm looking at the second sentence in the second paragraph.
Which one you want?
Electronic mail,
Oh, okay. Yep.
it says this is the primary focus of any email-related use of town computer. I'm not sure what that's telling me.
That's what it said in the thing. We didn't take that, we didn't tear that one apart in the original, so.
Oh, well, what does it mean to any of you? What's it telling you?
This is the primary focus of any email-related use of the town computer.
If you look at the first sentence, then read the second
It
sentence.
isn't.
It doesn't, I'm missing a connection here.
No, you're right.
Well, I think when I first started writing that, I was giving everybody a second email address, and we shot that down. You didn't want doing personal thing on the,
Okay,
so
yeah.
that's why you want to take that out?
Well,
It doesn't make any sense, so yeah.
Okay.
but I mean, depending on what it's trying, what it was originally trying to tell us, maybe we should just
You get the original one, Deb?
rework the,
Yeah,
Well, it's,
here.
it almost makes it belong to this business.
See, I was
and
giving
personal.
everybody a second
Yeah.
use, a second address for personal
Well,
ones,
this
so then take
sentence
that
is
out.
still in here, in the same location.
Right, but when we took this part out, nobody focused on this sentence. So now we should just take it
Oh,
out.
I see what you're saying. That was the primary email address.
Correct.
For the, okay. Yes, we
Yeah.
should get rid of it, I think.
okay.
But it no longer addresses that, does it?
No, which is why we want to take it out.
Take what out?
So delete
The
sentence two
this
is
the
paragraph
primary
two.
focus. We're taking that sentence out.
Of any email-related use of the town computer.
Right.
I cannot find my notes on this one. Oh, here it is.
Good. Straightforward now.
Can I nitpick?
Yep.
The capital S on supervisor?
Okay.
We usually supervise.
Not want your supervisor.
Second to the last line of the third paragraph.
It's not capital.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
Should paragraph 2 and 3 be combined, because the last sentence of 2 says personal use of
I
town
know.
email address is not allowed, and then we sort of continue that line, employees should not expect privacy in any activity conducted on town-owned computer.
But not only that, it also says, an employee's personal email and other personal documents accessed via town computer could be considered public data and may not be protected by.
That's right, it seems in conflict with,
Yeah, it seems.
It's telling
because
people they
Up
can't-
above, we're saying personal use of town email address is not allowed. Employees should not expect privacy in any activity conducted on a town-owned computer. That's okay. An employee's personal email
Well, I think that
and
that
other
refers,
personal documents.
I think that refers to the fact that we know that they're going to access their own personal email.
Yeah, and this is
From-
where I think we had a conflict, because at one point, I think that we talked about a second email address, or that they would be allowed to access their own email carrier
On the
To-
internet,
on the internet.
yes.
So is that handled under internet, and it's not being handled under electronic mail?
Nope, it's being handled under electronic mail, and that means, this paragraph means even if they go to yahoo.com, that it's considered public. Nothing they do, even on their own email, will be
And so
considered
that
private.
is assuming that they have already determined that they can use the town computer for personal email, but only if they access their own carrier, because it says that somewhere else.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that it might be worth repeating here in some way or form? Where we
So
say
that the two
personal
paragraphs
use of the
don't
town
appear to
email
conflict.
town email address is not allowed.
Well, it says an
Oh, I
employee's
think that we-
personal email
Yeah.
accessed via the town computer.
I think that we talked about the fact that you don't want to, that we didn't want to include, just saying, but how, we didn't want to include something, however, you're allowed to use it for, I think that we kind of talked about that. You know what I'm saying, that we didn't want to just put it into it that, that they could use it. So,
Battling.
yeah,
All right.
Oh, you got the little tiny one.
dead.
Shut the camera off so I can come off. Would you stop? Steve's gonna just run out.
That's right, I'm leaving.
He's getting scared. So we don't think that we need to mention that again, because it's handled under internet. Personal use of the internet during non-work hours, breaks, lunch hours before is permitted. However, employees may not access inappropriate sites. Sites, blah, blah, blah. See, this doesn't address that they can access it, but only by using their own email carrier.
So where do you want to stick it in the electronic mail part?
The town provides employees with an email address for work-related use. I think probably in the same paragraph as that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it would add.
Do you think
a
it should be
connection there
included?
between the-
That,
Something to that effect that might, because if we all look at it and think that there's a disconnect there, then
well, we were thinking that it was handled under internet, but I think if you look at the internet policy, it doesn't address. It says the town provides internet access to employees for work on town business. Employees may use this access for work-related matters and professional use. Occasional personal use of the internet is acceptable as long as it does not interfere with the employee's work.
And I thought we discussed not trying to list things they can do or can't do necessarily, because
So
we,
here it says that they can access it for personal use.
Well, they can.
And here we say, personal use of the town's email address is not allowed.
but they're not saying that you can't use
The internet.
the internet for non-work related items.
Okay. So it should be under electronic mail that we should indicate that they can use it, or is that just to be understood? That they can use the internet so that they can therefore access their own email? Because the key was, we didn't want them sending out email, personal email, that had the town's email address.
Right. But it says an employee's personal email accessed by a town computer. That says that I'm getting on yahoo.com, but on the town's computer. I'm accessing my own personal email. Do you want to put,
Any other personal documents accessed via a town computer. To you, does that say that they can get their email, send, and his personal email
yep, that's what it says to me.
could be accessed by a town computer?
You want to put never transmit a personal email you would not want your supervisor or other employees to read?
No, because you don't want to transmit a work-related email you wouldn't want your
Well, that's
supervisor.
true too, yeah, okay.
Could you just say never transmit an email that you would not want other employees to read or that you may be embarrassed to see
She said that.
in newsprint?
She did say that.
Yeah, the supervisor or other employees is kind of,
It just seems to run on a little bit. Other employees,
I just don't think that it's explicit that,
she said that.
I put that in there too.
that,
Well, I said other employees to read or that you may be embarrassed to see in newsprint.
That's a better use of that than which.
Oh, right. Finally, I get one.
No, I don't like it in there at all, but if you're going to use one, that would be the word.
That would be the proper way.
or that.
Know that.
She had put it that, she put it that.
And your review to it.
She's the judge of whiches and that. She's the final deciding authority.
I'll do anything else you want, but I won't do that.
Did you not just say that and she said,
I'm taking it out. I did. I'm taking it out. It's gone. And we're digressing from,
Okay, how about this? Personal use of the town's email address is not allowed. You may, or an employee may access personal email? Is that what you want?
But I thought when we were doing the whole internet thing, we didn't want to get into what they can do.
well, then sometimes you have to
I think
say,
sometimes some things have to be in more than one place, because if someone goes to refer to the policy, let's say they're just really not sure, oh geez, what can and I cannot do about email?
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't
They
want to
wouldn't-
see it throughout in every section.
But then you're going to have somebody who's really bright, and they're going to say, well, it doesn't say I can't do this. It doesn't say I can't do that.
That's not great, that's obnoxious.
Obnoxious.
Then they'll end up on this policy committee.
A fate worse than
The employee.
Smart-ass employees will volunteer for committee positions.
All kinds of swearing here tonight. Well, I think it tells you that you can access it without being blatant.
And there's a difference between the personal use of the town email address and using the town computer to access your personal email.
Right. And it says that you can do that here.
Says you cannot, that is the town president email address for work-related use. Oh, no. Maybe we should use,
But that's what this is, personal use.
for the town.
Is not allowed.
Is not allowed, okay. So,
But this is an employee's personal email.
that's it.
Would you like that to be the first sentence? An employee's personal email be the first sentence, and then put employees should not expect privacy, never transmit an email. Would that make it more
I think so.
obvious
Yes.
that they are allowed to use a personal email address if we just move that?
I like that.
Actually, that could be the last sentence in that paragraph.
What, then have it transmitted in email?
No, employees should not expect privacy in any activity conducted on a town-owned computer.
Okay, and basically the sentences above it tell you why.
Right, right. So
And
make that the last
just
sentence?
reinforces it.
Right. Okay, we'll do that.
It reinforces that they can't send an email.
It doesn't say you can't send
expect
an email.
privacy.
Expect privacy.
But then it doesn't say that you can't use a town address.
Yes, it
It
does.
does. It says personal use of the town email address is not allowed.
The next line will then say, an employee's personal email accessed by the town computer could be considered public. We're going to take this sentence out. So it's going to start with Ian.
Employees' personal email and other personal documents accessed via the town computer could be considered public data and may not be protected by privacy laws.
Since this, I'm sorry, but since this section is on email, do we want in brackets and other personal documents, or is that not particularly appropriate then?
You want to take the brackets off for the whole thing?
I'm questioning whether that and other personal documents should come out, because this section is on email.
Fine.
And does that make sense?
Yep, that's fine.
What do you think?
Yeah, because this section is just about electronic mail, but we need to be sure that somewhere it also says if they're storing personal documents. Is there some place where they're allowed
It should be under
space?
That would be under storing and stuff, I would assume.
Our personal use.
Storing and transferring documents, does it address the privacy? But I think,
Privacy?
may not be protected by privacy laws. That's probably under computer use, under the first page.
When you had one, you had written one on personal use.
Why would storage of personal documents be under computer use?
No, personal use.
Okay.
There's a section on
Yep,
the ten
right.
personal
Yep,
use.
personal use.
Right after,
Mhm.
oh, it's
Yeah,
the,
we got
it's the
it.
first
On the
section
first
after the
page.
computer use policy.
And you know, here it says reasonable use of town
Which
email
paragraph?
systems for personal correspondence is allowable.
Well, personal use.
I think
That's really
we
talking about
cramped,
specifically what documents.
I think we crossed it all off. Because it says files from appropriate personal use of the town's equipment as long as it doesn't exceed 50 megabytes. Oh, I got it right.
You read that, did you get that?
From the original personal use file.
And 925 actually, too. 914, I think.
Really?
914.
Yeah, that 914.
So we took that out.
Oh, these 50 megabytes. That one.
All right, in the employee computer use policy, it says, as such, employees have no right or expectation of privacy in connection with use of said equipment and/or networks.
What section is it under?
Computer use.
The very first, it's written, the employee computer use policy.
Yeah. Which paragraph?
Second paragraph, second line. Oh, I think, wait a minute. Third paragraph, second line.
Yeah. As such, employees have no right or expectation of privacy in connection with the use of said equipment and/or networks. So we were asking that question as to whether we should remove the parentheses of "and other personal documents," right?
Right.
So we're still taking it out, right?
I think we should take it out.
Me too.
I just wanted to make sure it was covered somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And especially where this is really, this section here is dealing just with electronic
Electronic
mail.
mail.
How about that? All four of us agree?
Well, on second thought.
We only get the first one.
Oh, all right.
All right, now we're down to the town equipment cannot be used.
No offensive jokes? Come on.
Nope, sorry. That's a unique spelling of correspondence, I will say.
I know, huh?
How many zeros in correspondence?
Zeros in correspondence, really?
Zeros or Os? You can use them alternately, right?
No.
It could be a capital O.
Now, refresh my brain. What's the difference between IE and EG?
I don't know, but I had EGs written down there that somebody said, so.
And the reason I ask
The
is I
original.
want to make sure that it's not limited to,
The original had EG.
do we need to give them samples of what's confidential? These are mature adults. We're not talking about
Not us.
630s.
Don't you point that at me.
Trying to give you no yes, I would have.
I just needed more space.
Oh, all right. Give you half an inch. There you go.
Gone. You spelt that wrong for nothing.
I know.
That's one way to fix a spell.
What are you removing?
Everything after confidential communications.
In item 1?
So you're not going to list correspondence with attorneys, medical information?
No, if we're saying
No,
that
because
something
what
is
if I mess up?
confidential,
It's up to them to know.
You didn't say I couldn't send somebody's social security number.
it's what you call spell check.
When in doubt, give it a send.
Mm. These are pretty specific things here. Letters of reprimand,
I know, that's why we're gonna take it
correspondence
out.
with attorneys.
That's why we were going to delete it.
Okay.
If you don't understand what confidential communication is, you should not be working in a town hall.
Yeah. You know what happens when you assume that people know stuff.
I have faith in them. They know what confidential communication is.
You're optimistic, huh?
Are you writing me a note so that it doesn't go on the record?
Follow.
We'll bring a notepad next time for what
Passing back and forth.
I just asked you if you know.
Till he starts holding the camera and going around it to see what's on the table.
What happens
You
when
do
you
that, too.
assume?
He'd do that, too.
He would, he's that way. Evil grin.
Bwahaha.
Okay.
Do we like 5?
No, that's the whole reason for email, isn't it?
Oh, you want that to be number 1?
That's the whole reason for emails.
Well, it says harassing language twice.
No, one is sexually harassing language.
Should that be like
Inappropriate language?
including
Or any
sexual-
form of harassment?
including insensitive language or derogatory, offensive, or insulting comments or
Take it
jokes
all fun on
in
email.
email.
You can't send jokes, that means no Maxine jokes?
Maxine jokes are cute.
Oh, that used to brighten my day.
Helen Keller jokes are insulting.
Yes.
Never mind. I'll tell you on the way home.
Yeah, save it. Let's see.
Where do we get this from?
One of the,
From the state,
it was on one of the ones.
from the state thing, Minnesota thing?
Well, you know, they have an assault and then you have the hate crime assault. It doesn't seem to matter. You're gonna beat the guy up one way, you obviously don't.
Excuse me.
So I could never understand it, you know, it's harassing language. It doesn't have to be just sexually harassing, it's harassing both any way you put it, so.
Well, take the, including the sexually harassing language.
Yeah, we didn't even put in bullying.
I think you should leave it.
The sexually harassing part?
Mhm. Because some people may not think using harassing language.
You want to put bullying or threatening in there?
No, we've got including in here twice in the same sentence.
Should probably be 2 or 3 different sentences, actually.
Actually, we're getting rather specific, because here again, you don't say bullying, you don't say
You have to
threatening.
define it, is that it?
Well, something
Yeah,
a little
I think-
more general.
I think you're right, yeah.
There's nothing in there that says you can't do blackmail, there's nothing in there that says you can't do, what's the one I like?
You like to receive or what?
Boy, a whole bunch of words popped in my head, and I'm glad I didn't say any of them.
Mute.
Well, it wouldn't help.
There must be certain things that, like to meet sexual harassment laws.
Blackmail kind of
that,
thing.
Towns and cities and states and companies must have to include in certain documents. Would that be so? So maybe, so I wonder if that's why the state of Minnesota had this in here, because maybe as part of the sexual harassment laws, that you need to be explicit in whatever policies you have. about
Then we should have a
sexual-
sexually harassment policy.
We do. Well, not in this.
Yeah, no,
Not in this.
The internet thing, but there should be a special policy on sexual
We probably
harassment.
do have one.
He writes them all the time.
I teach the class.
I know you do.
Oh, then you want to know what to put in there.
No, I teach sexual harassment class.
So if you,
I think it's being a little bit too
Too
specific.
specific, right.
Like, there's nothing about slander, there's nothing about usury, there's nothing about anything there.
Oh. Bullying, threatening.
How about don't be a jerk?
but what I'm saying is you must know legally what towns need to meet.
No,
Under
I know
the
trusts
sexual-
and I know investments, but I don't know
Okay.
the rest of the law
Okay.
stuff. In this one from the League of Minnesota Cities, there's nothing in here.
It's probably the sexual harassment policy.
So was that under the original Acton policy then?
I'm trying to find,
You're saying it's not under the,
It's not in the Minnesota one. What about your?
I don't know if I got the old ones.
I found a corporate one. You want me to look at that?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't say anything about the sexual harassment under the email.
This is the town one, Elaine.
It just says, do not use harassing, sexually harassing, insensitive, derogatory, insulting.
What are you looking at?
This thing? Wasn't that the first one we had?
No, that's the one the town originally had. And this is the one my company provided us very nicely.
Sorry?
Well, here's a statement, just says employees should take care to ensure that messages are courteous, professional, and businesslike.
Yeah.
Any use involving materials that are obscene, pornographic, sexually explicit, or sexually suggestive. That's under the unacceptable activities.
Well, we could reprint that as is, but, you know what?
But again, if we start listing everything they can to do, somebody's gonna find something we forgot to include in there.
Then you want to
But
just,
sometimes it's trial and error, and that's what happens with policies, then it has to be changed to include something that you experience. I mean, you can't really expect to be able to cover everything and to know, you know, what will happen in the future. But you try to cover, you know, the things that you know are very possible to happen. Right, so,
then why not just say employees should take care to ensure that their messages are courteous, professional, and businesslike?
Being polite, relevant. Where is
Even
that?
if it's, I'm taking this out of the corporate.
Oh, the
policy on
corporate one,
last
okay.
page. Talks about email content / etiquette.
I don't know, mine, what I do with all of mine.
Start at the back. I always start at the bottom of the bottom.
Well, town equipment cannot be used to use harassing language, so.
Well, I think what she's saying is get
Yeah,
rid of that
yeah,
whole
right,
town
right.
equipment cannot be used to and put something like that in. Accordingly, employees should take care to not be a jerk.
It could be, employees should take care to ensure that messages are courteous, professional, and businesslike, including in personal communications. So we're not talking about just business communications. Because you're right, if there is a violation
Have
of
this
any
one, okay.
state law, whether it's bullying or anything else, there are separate statutes that address that, and those don't have to be,
God bless you.
can't possibly be included in a computer use policy.
I must have put them in a different
Okay,
folder.
Employees should take care to ensure messages are courteous, professional, and businesslike.
Including their personal communications.
Just don't write on that, I need to bring that back to work. What?
You know, this one, I only did up slightly.
All email correspondence is expected to be just as polished and professional as written letters.
No, I think that's getting into the fluff category,
That's what I thought.
so I was gonna,
Okay,
you might want to leave
just
the...
stop at this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that
Okay.
sound,
Yep, that sounds fine.
Where is that gonna go?
At
Where
the
that
end of the
paragraph used to be.
electronic
number
mail.
5?
Oh, you're just gonna replace number 5 with that?
Oh, I thought we were doing
I thought we were getting rid of this whole
taking the
paragraph.
whole thing and being positive rather than
Yeah.
negative.
Okay.
Well,
Respond to unknown senders.
Well, you know, maybe some of this should stay in.
Yeah, I think
number
so.
1 should stay in there at least, yeah.
2,
3.
3,
4. Well, 4 and 5 are probably covered by this other...
Yeah.
right.
So we just need
Take out
to...
4 and 5 now?
1 through 3, leave.
So you gotta take 4 and 5 out and then start another paragraph,
Okay.
because unless, you don't want them to do it that way.
How about if we go, all emails must comply with town policies, and then add, employees should take care,
Okay.
right there.
So you're gonna put that between these two sentences at the end?
Well, I was gonna ask you if we could take the personal emails and stick it up on that employee should not expect privacy
Sure.
thing, because that
Actually kinda goes
actually
there.
has, yeah.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with what you can and can't do.
You're really losing me on
She
this. You're,
wants to take the last line and put it into the third paragraph where it belongs.
personal emails and computer use may be monitored without notice to the employees.
Yep.
And where do you want to move it?
I want to move to the third paragraph.
Do you agree?
Just the one sentence, not all emails.
Oh, just this section.
Yep, just that section. Then for the last paragraph, we'll have all emails must comply. And then we'll throw in that sentence, employees should take care to ensure messages are courteous, professional, and businesslike.
Should take care, what is the sentence that you're going
It's-
to add that says employees should take care?
It's out of this general information under the email section.
Here from the etiquette.
Yes, under the email policy.
Have you pinky out?
Care to ensure message. And we're going to leave off your email correspondence is expected to be as polished and professional.
That's lovely.
That's
Yeah.
fluff, okay.
That's in your dreams.
Yeah.
On my Christmas list.
New sentence.
Excuse me.
I got so much music going on.
You know, they cover that, leaving something out by saying the following list, although not all-inclusive, provides some examples of unacceptable uses, if you
One
want.
of the things we've tried to do all the way through though is not be too specific. Make it a live working document.
Need some flexibility.
No, you don't want too much flexibility.
I know, but I don't.
You don't
want
want too much
And
interpretation.
it's not on here, what I
Some
did.
things that shouldn't be left to interpretation.
I keep looking at the clock thinking it's 5 minutes to 8.
Is it stuck?
Yeah.
Oh.
Good thing you're not paid by the hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're going to approve this anyway, so if they
Sure.
think that things should be
Oh, yeah.
more specific, they can certainly.
And that's why they get the big money.
Right. So are we done with electronic mail?
I think the only thing we have left really is the employee signature.
Signature. Now, does everybody have their own individual pieces of this? Like I do?
Yes.
Should we start thinking about consolidating this for the next meeting?
Sure.
You know, I'll make my changes and get them.
Email it to me.
You know, you gonna do the consolidation?
Sure.
So do you have this last page? I'm not
Yes,
sure
I
where I
do.
got it from,
Yeah,
but
right here.
is that, any further changes on that? Looks like this. Well, no, it was part of. what else?
think I have copies.
I have it on the, yeah, that's what I've got it on.
Yeah. I think it's the same as hers.
And that's,
And is there a form, or do they just sign
No, I
a
think-
copy of the whole policy,
right.
that they received it, just read it?
Well, what we could do is put the name of the policy up here on the top of the page. That way, in the file, you don't have to save this. Why? You don't want a copy of the full document in everybody's file. No, that's wrong. Maybe you do need the document. You do need the document.
I would think
Well,
so,
because
too.
documents change, and they're only going to sign
That's
the
the
one
one that
that's
they
dated,
read,
sure.
that they understood.
Yeah.
Because if it changes, and it will change, 2 years later, and they're saying, well, wait a minute, it didn't say that when I signed my copy.
Yeah, here's a
You will
copy
need the
that
whole
you signed. Actually, that's when they should initial each page, too.
Very good.
Because then they can say, well,
do that
that
with
page wasn't part of
wills
the
and trusts.
document when I read it.
That's right. Exactly.
In regards to this, did we cover somewhere in the policy about changes that they are also responsible to read any amendments, subsequent changes
Well,
and so
wouldn't that be the
forth?
responsibility of the office manager to make sure that they get it? Not the employee's job to read it, but the
Yeah.
office managers to give it out.
Yeah.
And I think
It
it's
would be, but does
substantial.
it, but should it be a part of the computer policy that states that, let's say something happens to Virginia and somebody else has to read the policy and has to know what their responsibility is to that policy. So should it be covered somewhere that the office manager is responsible to issue relevant changes to the policy and
Well, we haven't done that for any other policy.
Right.
No, and if you
Especially
don't
if
issue the
it's-
changes, if they're substantial,
yeah.
I think you reissue the document, get new signatures on them. Throw out the old one. If they're minor, a memo would do it.
Okay. Your lips to God's ears.
He and I have conversations once in a while,
No, I mean, make it be so, but that's what
We're not
happens.
making any changes or anything to this? Nobody said anything about it yet.
About what?
The employee signature page.
I think it's just swell.
Okay, then, that's all I
I
needed.
love it.
All right.
Elaine's thinking.
Employee computer use policy?
Did you ever come up with an acronym for that you were going to come up
Oh,
with?
no, I never have.
You didn't?
He's been thinking way too much
We've been
lately.
waiting with bated breath for
I
this.
know, what was that going to be for?
That's for the
Our very
town-owned,
first,
town-owned equipment or something.
the very first part of the whole
Town
entire
known
document. Policy
use.
governs the use of the town's electronic communications and information systems.
Yeah.
And instead of repeating that all the time, we were going to have an acronym or something for it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
ECIS.
So do we want to do that? Do we want to put in parentheses, ECIS? ECI systems? And use that throughout instead of putting electronic communications and information systems? Because somewhere it says town equipment and everything, right?
Sorry.
In some places.
Well, if you put in,
Electronic
acronym,
communications
then-
and information systems. This is when we were talking,
I don't think
kind of
it's
started talking
particularly
about,
appropriate.
because it says it so many places.
Right.
So we started talking about whether we should have an acronym for it or,
I vote no.
okay.
I think we're paying the butt to go back and change everything at this point anyhow.
That's what you have the find and replace
That's
button
right.
for.
I never used that. I think
I
I'm
use it
old
all
school.
the
time.
I'm
Oh,
old
yeah.
school.
I don't know control alt delete.
Can we
There
save
you
that
go.
for a last possible change if, when we do the final read on this? If we
Yeah,
decide
we can,
that,
because it really is quite simple to change it. You just
is.
do a search and find and
Find
replace.
and replace, yeah.
Okay, the other thing that we were going to look at towards the end was the order of these sections. Do we want to change them or leave them as is?
Yeah, because we talked about the importance of things.
Unless we need to see the final draft to really,
I think it would be best
we've all got
to,
umpteen pieces of paper here.
I think it would be best to have a final draft of everything, the way it runs, how it sets up on the pages and everything.
If everybody makes changes and gets them to me, I'll send an email to you. And then you can, everybody pick, number the paragraphs, which way you think they should go, and we'll,
Oh, we'll have 4 different answers.
4 different answers.
And the majority rules.
We'll share them, and, yep,
We can average them.
there you go. And then hopefully in a month when we come back, it'll be all done. Put them a couple
You want us
different
to
orders.
send you the changes that we have to do? I don't think I have any changes. Mine came out perfect.
Can you believe her?
My sections.
Well, if you don't have any changes left to make, just send it to your
Just send to me the
sections.
sections that you have, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think
If
you're
I sent a
going to.
couple
I'm
to
pretty
you, but I
sure.
should send them to you separately. Is that it?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I think so there.
At least not everything.
Not food.